is Richard Ogachi. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel, please. Thank you for everything, guys. And this is gonna get better. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And I know this is gonna go a long way. And I hope, I'll be able to do, and I'm doing videos that you guys like. I hope you enjoy. And let's do this, guys. So today, I'm just gonna give a background and some analogy about what I believe. Working as a registered nurse, mostly worked as a civil servant. Civil servant, I mean that I worked for government most of the time as a registered nurse, and I observed transition from younger nurses when I got to become a nurse, worked in the hospitals, and until I quit and left government, Kenyan government, and now it's been very interesting. And the analogy of all this that I'm talking about is like, why exactly do people show up at work? What do they do at work? And what do people believe in? And again, when you ask such questions, you want to know, like, how do you form a team? How effective can be your team in achieving your objectives? And what is the motivation? What is the motivation for people to show up at work? And then when you get to decode and unravel such kind of intuitions, then you'll be able to structure a team for you to get the results. You know, in management, I've been in management positions in different aspects, and I've always observed clearly staff and people, how people behave at work, why people do some things, why some people are good and some people can make a bad team. But by and large, I think I've been very curious for the most part in life. So the first time when I became a nurse, before I even became a nurse, in nursing school, we used to have clinicals. So actually in my nursing class, we were 5 guys out of 20 something, class of 20, I think it was 25. It was not more than 30 for sure. I don't remember well, but we were only five male nurses. So I kept asking myself, is this a good idea? Is it a mistake, or how do I go about now? Why do I want to be a nurse in the first place? And then I kept being very inquisitive. So when I get to go to clinicals, that's when I came in touch with nurses. There were, of course, fewer male nurses and many women, many female nurses. So my question was always how much money do you guys make? And is this a good thing? Is it good income? Is it enough for my family? Can I do a lot with this kind of money? But you see, unfortunately, none of the nurses I ever asked ever disclosed how much they are paid. They were being paid then. They didn't say exactly how much they were earning. So I kept just asking, okay, so they said it's good salary. Good is relative. When you say good, for some people it's comfortable. You know, you're paid some money and you're good to go. He's able to pay the rent and buy food and buy some clothes and buy something else, and they are comfortable. So I kept asking and wanting to know, how much were these people making? What was the salary for entry-level nurse? And then I also went ahead to find out from the older retiring nurses. I could find some who had 2 years to retire. That was when I was a nurse in nursing school. And 2 years to retirement, and 3 years to retirement. those who were doing their retirement parties, because that time almost every year we have someone retiring, you know. So I could very carefully observe what happened then. So most people, when they go to retire, I saw a lot of desperation, a lot of frustration. Like, I know there is resistance to change. Like, you're going home, you don't have anything you're gonna do, you're scaling down, you don't have to wake up anymore to go to work, and you don't have to bother anything. I mean, like, you're retired. So in Kenya, retirement age is 60. It was 55, but they moved to 60. So I was very curious to know, so these people who are retiring, what is the situation like for them? What are they gonna do at home? Have they invested? Do they have income? So I was not able to get the numbers, like the salaries, until I became employed by government. That's when now I actually even went to one of the administrators and asked them, because individual nurses will not tell me how much they were being paid. So I went ahead and was able to come in touch. I was able, through the administrator, I was able to get pay slips, and I was able to see how much. I saw salary for entry-level nurses and retiring nurses who've been working for 35 years, 30 years, some 30 years. I saw salaries for all cadre, clinical officers. I wanted like to see the highest paid, you know, than the lowest. I didn't care for the lowest because I already knew how much I was earning, so I could very much estimate everyone how much they were earning, more or less the same salary. But I was able to see pay stubs or pay slips in Kenya. We call them pay slips for a medical doctor. I saw for a clinical officer. I saw for everyone, like every cadre, clinical officer, nutritionist, and you know, I got very disappointed how much people were earning. I was able to see a pay stub for a medical doctor who had been working for more than 10 years. When I was employed, that was the first year of employment with the government, by the way. So I was able to see a salary for a medical doctor. And I was like, so, is this what they call good salary? Because it was then, I remember after working for 10 years, after working for 10 years, the salary was, for that medical doctor, was 254,000. I'm like, what? 200,000 for a medical doctor who's been working for 10 years? Then I knew that's the time I knew I was in trouble, because then I will not see like 200,000 was a lot of money, or it was enough money anyways. Because when I look at like the input for you to become a doctor, the kind of education and exams that you have to do in medical school, and then you get paid 200,000. After 10 years, you still are less than 300,000. I did not think it was worth it, because 7 years of medical school and including clinicals and a lot of reading and studying, you don't have time for anything. To me, it didn't look like it's worth it. So I was like, so I studied and checked the people who were retiring. You know, people who were retiring, the nurses, most of the nurses who were retiring, they were being given gifts, retirement party. They were being given wheelbarrows. My dad was given a wheelbarrow, but I even remember that. They were being given like a lantern, like a big lamp. I'm like, what? They were being given animals like goats, you know. And that was, I was like, is this, after all working for 30 years, this is how it's gonna end? The girl is here. So I went and, Candace, please give me time. Please, mommy. I went and I tried to like follow one of the nurses who retired. Like, what exactly have they done? How is life going to look like in their retirement? It was very unfortunate because I saw like the only celebration retiring nurses have was to have just a house. The only worry most people have is after retirement, do they have a home which they are not paying rent? That's most priority, basic. Most nurses, they are focusing on how at retirement you have a house that you're not paying rent, and then you have maybe a chicken garden that you don't have to buy vegetables or grocery, and maybe a vehicle, and of course there's the money that you paid as retirement packs, which is unbelievably. I was able to see a pay slip for my dad and my mom on retirement. It's unbelievable. I was able to see a pay stub for a retired nurse and like how much they were taking home. And it was unbelievable. Like, is this the much that I can make at retirement for me to be comfortable? Like, it didn't make sense to me. So, and that's why, by the way, I appreciate the time that I had and worked for government because it was very transformative. I served. Sometimes when I didn't serve because of the challenges that we had. Working for government has its individual challenges, especially. But for me, man, working for government, it was a dream killer for me. Working for government killed my dreams. Because working for government for me was the kind of comfort that comes when you have a permanent job, especially if you are working for government, because it's hyped, like it's permanent and pensionable, and you cannot lose your job, and you can live a comfortable life with your family. You can save for retirement. You can borrow loans to buy a house or to build a house, or do something, do business or something. I never saw most people try to do business. Most of the people I worked with, working for government, they never had side hustles. A few of them worked locums, like pickups in other private hospitals. Very few did that. And, most people don't have side hustles. Most people, they are not passionate for anything. They're just about showing up and see patients and do nursing job and go home. Very comfortable. No discomfort at all. So when you look at that and see the kind of growth that you can get from such, it's going to be so hard for you to get out of such kind of comfort. I wish I didn't work for government. I know some people will tell me, okay, you worked for government and you were able to do some things for yourself more than if you worked for private sector. But I think if I had more stress and more pressure, I could be far this time. Look at people here now. I'll have gone so far. But what I would like to advise any entry-level nurse, if you really want to be successful in life, in success, I mean, my definition is if you really want to make enough income for you to live a comfortable life, which comfortable life also is relative. I mean, I don't know what comfort is, but you need money. You need money. You need the money, by the way. Most people say they are called, they are doing what they like, but you need money. You need a lot of money, by the way. But if you really want to get ahead and put yourself in a discomfort situation for you to think and get going, the last organization or institution to work for is government. I know this is going to not going to go down well with a lot of people, but the last organization or institution you work for is government if you want to go get ahead, because even the people you'll be around, it's negative, it's not good energy for you. It's not good energy because the work ethic is mediocre. Most of the people work for government institutions, they are the ones who really looking like they've made it and they are making a lot of money. Almost all the time it's not from legit sources either, and most of those are in procurement, finance, government parastatal, government institutions. They are in procurement, they are in finance, they are in HR recruitment, that they have to be paid for you to get the job. You have to pay money. You know, it's crazy. But the last institution you should work for, if you really want to become super successful in life, the last institution you work for is government. Let it be the last resort. I mean, like, try everything else. Try so hard. Try doing something else before you get to government. And then you look and see how far you'll be. Let me give the analogy of now me moving and immigrating to the US. Excuse me. When I got to the US, I was like trying to find out how are people living, what kind of income is medium class, middle class, what kind of income is poverty, and what kind of income is rich or wealthy. And how does it look like? I did the same analogy, like looking at retiring nurses and entry level. Of course, I did not have to do a lot to see that. And then retiring especially. And of course, I've really worked for long-term care, where I've come in touch with a lot of retired folks. And I have a very close friend who is retired. And they made a bunch of money working for doing a private consultant's business. Man, the game is the same. The game is the same. Whether it's government, it's private sector, that's private individuals having private individual businesses, whether it's NGO or whatever you call it, the money game is the same. And what I've come to hate most is middle class. When you are middle class, like in the US, I've seen like most of the people who are like middle class, they have a home, maybe they paid off, and they have maybe some savings coming from 401k, or maybe they have some investments. They are getting some small like passive income that they can easily go back to poverty levels or poor class if something really went wrong one time. So for middle class, you are finished. Because when I look at in the nursing homes, I work closely with case managers, those who decide which patient goes for rehab, retired nurses, the ones who are leaving employment and going for retirement, and the kind of awards that they get, the kind of benefits they get, and how much they earn in retirement, and how it's supposed to sustain them. So now I was trying to give an analogy of now when I go to the US, best country in the world, most people like good work ethic, they work so hard. But I have also tried to study retired nurses, retired factory workers, and everybody else, most people from different industries. And even the danger in the US, the danger is also retirement. Like how much did you save in your 401k? This is going to determine what kind of healthcare you get. You know, when you get to about 50, 60 years old, 70 years, 80, mostly you'll be fighting diseases and infirmity. You know, the body is getting weak, the immunity system has gone down. and the body is getting old, and you need more healthcare. You go to hospital more, you have more living with medical conditions, so you need proper healthcare. So in the US, working in the long-term care facilities, I have never seen the desperation like the people who are retired and they've either had a fall, they need rehab, they need to go to a rehab facility for rehab for a period of time. So the game is so dangerous, that it's so complicated, that most of these people, the Medicaid or Medicare, whatever insurance policies they have that pays for their healthcare, can only pay for a certain amount of time. There are those that they can pay, I think they have like so many days before they can get admitted to the hospital, or depending on the services they need, that's how they get approval. You don't just get by default. You don't get by having subscribed. And then most of them, actually, even the private insurance ones, there is co-pay. Like, it's not like comprehensive, as in you don't pay. You have to pay some minimum specific amounts they have. There's a co-pay. It's not free. So I usually see people just desperately like fighting, appealing to the insurance companies to give them some more days. And you see they actually sick and they need it, but according to the assessments, the insurance companies and Medicare, they don't want you to get anything more than what they think you deserve. So the game is so complicated, because you see, when you have worked for 35 years old and you're retired, I thought maybe after 30 years at least you made enough and you don't have to worry about income. You don't have to worry about how much money you have to spend. Do you have enough money for the period of time that you're going to live? I don't know. So the game is so complicated because, again, Medicare, the government insurance plans, they don't pay when they know that you have a house, whatever the case that is. If you have a home, you have to transfer it to your children by the time you get old, so that at least you can get Medicare. And that's why I said that middle class is the problem. Being middle class is really the most dangerous thing you can ever, because then middle class means you have something that maybe it's a home that you've paid off. That home will be collateral. Either if you need rehab, they know that you're able to raise money before you can qualify to get Medicaid. It's so complicated because, so actually when I got to the US the first time, also I tried to ask a couple of people who work in healthcare, like, how much money do you have in savings in 401k? And then like, so what does that mean? How much do you have in other investment platforms? So that at least you know that you're not worried at old age. Are you working with maybe a financial planner to help you like get somewhere? But it's so complicated because then they also like, I've not made enough. So one of the nurses told me like she has saved 500,000 in savings in 401k. Oh, I was like, 500,000 in the US? 500? Is 500 really enough to say that you can retire having 500? How much is healthcare already? How much can you pay if you have like a long-term illness? You need maybe continuous medications. You need maybe at some point you need maybe rehab. At some point maybe you need hospice, or palliative care or home care. Like, is 500 gonna be enough for you if you are 60? If you're 65 and you have 500 in savings, are you in a good spot in the US? I don't know. But the kind of bills that are paid here, I don't think really you are in a good spot with 500,000 as ultimate only savings. It's gonna be so complicated because the bills are so expensive. How much do you pay in a single hospital stay, like for 3-4 days? So my question would be, how much are you supposed to make and save so that you are assured of your old age income? Not to worry, at least you get to a place where you have some significant amount of money. If God gives you life, you get to 65, 70. Do you have enough? You know, in the US, it's so complicated because there is no ancestral land. Ancestral land, for where we come from, ancestral land, you don't pay anything for it. You have the land, you've maybe built a house, which is your house, you don't pay rent. The land that you have, since we have good weather, you can plant a kitchen garden, you can farm your own produce, and then you don't have to go shopping. Maybe just shopping, you only need to buy like a few processed foods and grocery. But otherwise, in the US, it's everything you have to pay. Houses, you have to pay insurance. You have to pay insurance. You have to pay taxes to the state and to the state and even federal. But anyway, you have to pay taxes. So how much is enough? Because these conversations, we never have them in healthcare. When we start, I always I'm curious to ask questions when I meet. So you guys, like colleagues, what are you investing in? How much money do you have? What can I do to get ahead? What can I put money? They never have such kind of conversations. With the healthcare people, me included, medical doctors, physical therapists, nurses, medical laboratory technologists, people who work in healthcare, they never talk about money. They don't usually talk about money. Intimate conversations about money and what options and opportunities are there for you to maybe invest the money that you have. I always see the 401k arrangements for government, the contribution for 401k, and maybe they buy some stocks, and people rely so much on 401k and as a main investment or savings plan to be able to assure you of your old age. The game about money is so complicated, guys. Remember, like, for example, also like from Kenya, when I moved to the US, significantly more income than I was earning in Kenya. But you see, when you transition, when you move to the US, you kind of make more money, but you have the same mindset. You have the same mindset. And by the way, the biggest danger in terms of income is Parkinson's law of expenditure. Parkinson's law of expenditure says that when you have more money, you have to up your expenditure to level up with your income. So that means actually you never change. You are the same person. You are making more money or more income, but still, naturally, you will have to develop, you'll have to come up with ways of spending that money. Either most of the time, we upgrade the lifestyle. Either you buy a new car, you buy a house, you buy new shoes. If you're in Kenya, for example, there are things that you will not do. And when you get to the US, significantly more income, that means you buy a Hoka shoes for $200. You go for vacation. And in Kenya, remember, I never used to go, I didn't go for vacation. Our family, we never used to go for vacation. And I know most of the people, most of the kids, and And most people, except for the punks, you know, for the rich, or at least people who understand and traveled outside the country and they have more income, because how much do you need to save for you to go for vacation anyways? There are people going for vacation now. At least we started going, and then the awareness about how to go for vacation. We have companies that are negotiating deals, and more people are going, but most of the Kenyans don't go. Most of the people where I come from, they don't go. There's sensationalization that we have now. Transport company, tourist travel companies are negotiating deals for people to go to these vacations. And what are the numbers? How many people do that? You know, I'm an underdog, and I resonate so much with underdogs. Underdogs don't go for vacation. But anyways, so you come with the same mindset. You have the same problems, financial problems, by the way. The same mindset. You are taught to get a job and earn the money. When you earn the money, that's where the conversation ends, earning. But what you do with the money?
My water bottle's in my room. Can I get in your room? Can I get it?
Yeah, go get it. And did you pee?
Yes.
Okay, good job. So did you change your mindset and moved and stopped risking the Parkinson's law of expenditure? I don't think so. So you're facing the same kind of challenges. You're facing the same danger. So look, like for example, I have studied very closely the marketing companies that are selling products to people in the diaspora. We send money back home a lot. Send a lot of money, either supporting family, doing construction projects like building homes at home, buying property, buying land. Diaspora people, okay, the people in the diaspora who especially been in the US for longer, they lose touch, they lose grip, they lose context, what goes on in Kenya. They think things really changed. And like, for example, what even just gets me so worried is the companies that sell land in Kenya. They sell land in different places in Kenya, like Nanyuki. They sell land in Nanyuki. They sell land in Malindi. They sell land in Ukunda, some place in Ukunda, Machakos. They sell land in Nakuru, some place. They've done what we call gated communities, and they people build few houses, and they say that's your retirement plan. And then those lands, gated communities in Ruiru, we have a lot of companies. I've seen crazy marketing strategies for targeting the people abroad because they have at least some savings. They have some money. People in abroad, you can find somebody. Most people easy have 20,000 lying as savings, and they are able to buy now the specific types of pieces of land in Nanyuki, in Malindi. Like, how do you buy up? You're in the US, and the only way that you have to spend your savings is for 300,000. That's about 300,000 is about $3,000, like $2,000. And they tell them, you know what, $2,000 is not much for somebody who is abroad. They tell them, buy more pieces of land. So that means someone will spend, if it's one piece of land, if 1 acre is going for $300, $2,000, then they will tell them to buy more. So that means they buy 2,000 times 5, they pay them $10,000, which is close to 1,000,000 Kenya shillings. And they think that's a deal. They don't know the real estate company, they bought that land for 30,000 Kenya shillings, which is $300, and they're selling it for 2,000. And now that he's paying 5 pieces for 2,000, it means he has bought a whole 10 acres of land for the next person who is going to buy land from them. And then what exactly can you do with this land? What can you do with that land? That's why the money game is so rigged against us who don't have financial intelligence. Like, what kind of investment strategy is that? How will you get value for your money from such kind of an investment? And these guys are on our face. They have proxies in the US who are sending brochures to us, telling us, okay, buy now and wait. Don't wait and buy. Something that I don't know what you're going to do. We're going to do with land that is in Malindi, some place almost on a river, some dry, crazy place. What are you going to do with 5 acres of land? And you are in the US. What is going to be your strategy? So, man, the game about money is so tough that, as they say, that if you have somebody if you win a jackpot, it's even the statistics, like in the US, most people who win jackpots, and especially those NFL players who get a lot of money, they almost all the time lose it. By 5 years, they've also lost everything. Almost, there are many people that we know who lost a lot of money, and they were earning a lot of money. Like Mike Tyson, it's in the open and he talks about it. He lost everything and he was earning a lot of money. Now look at us. We don't have financial intelligence. We don't know how to invest. We don't know even how to start a business. And by the way, we also think most of the time that the employer cares about you. The employer and the staff who do management responsibilities, you think they care about us. Nobody cares about you, my friend. They care as long as you're showing up and putting in the hours. And by the way, even putting in the hours, we are just covering shortages. You're just building other people. Because even like in the US, most of the hospitals, we don't even know. We don't even know who the owner is. In assisted living facilities, they're owned by big companies. The people who make the most money are not there. They're not there. The only way we can be creative is to find travel jobs, for example. And the person who owns the travel job, the travel company, is actually not even a healthcare professional. We don't know them. But we are jumping and flexing that you're making a lot of money. You don't know how much they make from you. By the way, I've always tried to find how much the patient pays for a single admission. Like if in the hospital, you have 5 patients. How much do they collect from one patient a night? And now you have 5 of them. And you're one who is being paid, the much you're being paid. When you look at how much they get, most of us, we don't get into those conversations. Because when I start such kind of conversations, people get tired. What are you talking about? Let's focus. Let's do what you have to do. We don't have those kind of conversations. But you know what? When you retire and you get sick, you go to the hospital and the insurance says they can't pay. That's when you realize, my 35 years, I put in 35 years with this company, I saved this amount of money, but you're still the money will end, you will finish all the money before, and you remain with a lot of time. And that means at that time you're not able to work, you will not afford to live a dignified life or life without worries of who is going to pay your bills, especially healthcare bills. Very expensive. So then, having said that, so what is the solution? What exactly should you do? Because this is, when you fighting to make money by giving hours, you're always don't have enough time. You always run short of time. You almost all the time don't have enough time to make the money. But you know what? The most important thing is we are having these conversations. Actually, not even we are having these conversations. I am having those kind of conversations myself. And I know that at some point, I hope I get this right. I hope I get this right, because it's not like too much to do, you know. It's just putting myself in an uncomfortable situation and be able to learn and also try to get ahead. And that's why I wish if maybe COVID could have affected me, I also could be ahead, because then it will have put more pressure on me to at least start thinking outside the box. But you know, it's not too late. It's not late for me. It's not late. I'm gonna try and try and try again. We can't give up. Come on, guys. How is your program working out? Go ahead and do everything and go everywhere. God bless you. See